the Canadian seems kind of fucking weird. Would challenge the Canadian industry to just fucking invest in itself. It's not necessarily because they are the best. There's many talented people who just, for whatever reason, things don't align. Make a solid body of work, hopefully for yourself. I do my fucking work, and if it goes anywhere, amazing, and if it doesn't, I still have done the work objectively. Especially today, you feel like it's not a worthwhile pursuit unless you're deriving income from it. You can just go to bed and be like, I did a thing today, hopefully that's enough.
Yeah.
You know? And you can't just wait for the phone to ring. I try to be like, look, did you write one sentence? Then you're one sentence further ahead than you were before. Like, life is never really giving you warning signs that things are about to change, right? But like, that's something we have to do.
Yeah.
We don't have to act. So if it's causing you like that much, maybe look for something else. And I think the trap is, I have my agent, I'm good.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like, no one is gonna do it for you.
And before we start the interview, please, if you could subscribe, it helps us out so much, costs you nothing, and we would really appreciate it. So hit that subscribe button. Enjoy the interview.
So when did you know you wanted to be an actor?
Okay, I actually can pinpoint this one. I know some people are like, no. So in grade 3, we had like a play. This was Shakespeare for Kids, I'm pretty sure. So my full circle journey was finding this when I worked at Indigo. I was like in the children's reference section, and I was like, I wonder if they have those Shakespeare for Kid adaptations, and they did.
No way.
So grade 3, we were doing 12th Night, and it was a very democratic casting process where the teacher was like, who would like to play whatever, and you'd put your hand up. So she was like, who wants to play Viola? And I put my hand up and she picked me. I was like, well, I guess I'm going to Hollywood, guys. Like, I'm not gonna finish my EQAO, it's fine. Good luck, literally. But it was cool. I was like, oh my God, people get to do this. And then I remember, so when I was in high school, it was Drake's high school, and people's favorite thing to do was write Aubrey Graham in the textbook. I'm like, he wasn't here in 2012. You're not fooling anybody. He never made it to grade 12 calculus, but whatever. So it was a very academic high school, and we did have like a kind of a drama program, and we did some musicals, but it was very much, and most of my friend group were like going into science. I'm like, I guess I'll do economics. But I was doing the like dog and pony shows at all the universities, like going to see. It's now TMU, but at the time it was the Ryerson Theater School.
Right.
And I remember going to their open house and sitting there, and they did, I think, an excerpt from their like pantomime that they were doing in the fall, and I was like, oh shit, this is where I gotta be. So that was really exciting, just having that like affirmation, because nothing else had been really exciting up to there. I'm like, yeah, I'll take your scholarship money, but I don't really want to do international economics and finance. So I remember I did the audition, then a week later I got the acceptance, and I like burst into tears.
No
and then we
way.
never looked back. We've never cried again. It's been great. It was my last cry. Oh my God. We got it all out on that one day. Jeez.
Amazing.
I'm really glad, you know, I feel like a lot of people are crying all the time now. So I'm like, I don't remember what that was like.
Yeah, I cry
Sorry.
all the time. I just posted the other day, I was like, I'm one sad animal video away from crying at all times.
That's pretty much me. Even though I haven't, but it's coming. Oh my God.
I love it. That's hilarious.
Jeez.
So you go to Ryerson. What was that experience like?
It was pretty neat. It was one where I stayed living with my parents' house, and I will probably be there until I die. In this economy where we're not going. But we had a bunch of people coming from like BC and Alberta and the East Coast. It was neat to meet them. They have it as a conservatory program. I don't know if it's still that way now, but we had about 23 people for the vast majority of our time there. And it was funny because I remember distinctly we had a professor, Sheldon Rosen, and we did something called creative performance studies. It was a fake class, but everything we do is fake, so that's fine. And I remember him being like, yeah, and you'll have all of these people lined up as soon as you graduate, ready to sign you. And he was joking, and I was like, no, Sheldon, I'm gonna be fine immediately. And he was fully correct. So looking back, I'm like, man, we really didn't know what we had when we had it. We were all, I think, pretty concerned with like just effortlessly being good without trying, as opposed to just being like, yeah, some things aren't gonna work for you, and just see what you can learn. So if I could go back in time and like live in my 18-year-old body and like do it, I feel like I would have gotten more out of it than I did. Not that there was nothing to serve us, but looking back, I'm like, shit, we really had a lot going for us. But yeah, I think what he basically was trying to hammer home is you kind of have to make your own work, because there aren't people like waiting outside to like give you a platform. And I thought, no, that's not true. But it was
It's true.
He knew.
I lived in denial too. Of the, like, you're gonna
Yes.
have a lot of no's, and
Yes.
you're gonna have big breaks between working. I was
Yes.
like, you don't understand
don't
how
know.
fucking
I'm so
talented
talented.
I am.
That's it. That's literally it.
The
though.
audacity.
Truly, like I'll see you when I'm on the Colbert show. Like
Yeah.
I'll be framing this moment to show and be like, idiot number one.
Right, exactly.
Alright, you
I'd like
go.
to thank not that person.
Actually, not like thank anyone because I did it all by myself.
That's right.
My first audition, I had
Yeah.
a lead, and I was good to go.
I was
They
good to go.
based the
I
whole
landed that
show.
TV series.
Never looked
and
back.
It became the new Friends.
That's it, literally. And it only took like 2 minutes to film the audition. So I guess you're all just really bad at your jobs.
Right? And my mental health is perfect.
That's right. I've never cried. I cried once I didn't like it. I decided that's not for me.
It's not for me.
Never looked back.
I love it.
Oh my God.
Hilarious. But yeah. It's nice to have that audacity.
Yes.
But then, yeah, you're like, oh, yeah, no, okay. Check,
I
you're
did
right,
need
you're
to be
100%
humbled.
Right.
But at the same time, as we said before, like you do have to have the confidence of like an audacious white man.
Yes.
And then things go along. But it's
100%.
a learning curve for sure. You're like, why isn't it working? But at the same time, it's not really a meritocracy either. And I think that's where it's been sitting, right?
Yeah.
The people who maybe are succeeding monetarily, it's not necessarily because they are the best. There's many talented people who just, for whatever reason, things don't align. And it's fine. I think it's another thing too where, especially today, you feel like it's not a worthwhile pursuit unless you're deriving income from it. But like if you took money away and we had like a universal basic income and you could just do what you wanted, you'd probably be pretty fulfilled, you know?
Yeah.
And people can't necessarily take away that you're an actor. It's just we have this tendency to only place value on things when you're deriving income. Like, oh, you're an actor,
Yes.
but like, where do you get your money from? And you're like, well, I serve. But like,
Yeah.
I am still an actor, you know? And I think that's been something I've kind of come to terms with the last couple years. Like, it's not a consolation prize thinking that way. It's just, yeah, I do my fucking work. And if it goes anywhere, amazing. And if it doesn't, I still have done the work objectively.
Yes,
you know?
exactly. Still doing the thing.
Yes,
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 that
definitely.
fulfills you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like if someone's, and that's another thing, like, you know, you do school and you have these things assigned and stuff, but as I went out into the world before COVID, LOL, what a fun time that was. But you're going out and you're doing the auditions and you're like, I don't actually like this. Like, I don't really care. I want to book it because it's a check mark and then, you know, you become union and you're making money, but it's not like you're excited by the stuff.
Yeah.
So then when we had COVID, that's when I became aware of the monologue slam that gets done. And I was like, oh, I want to do this. But as I was looking for material, I'm like, this, not that everything in existence sucks, but I'm like, I don't, the stuff that I want to be saying doesn't really exist. So it kind of got me onto the path of like writing stuff for myself, and it resonated well, which is cool. Like
Nice.
I've placed in the top 3 and won a couple of times, which is really neat.
Yeah, you did.
But it's also being like, oh, you can make your own shit and it'll resonate. It's not like you have to be at the mercy of getting cast in something.
Right.
And I think for your own sanity, especially right now, still coming out of COVID, like castings become virtual a lot of the time. You don't get that feedback. You just like are screaming into the void, basically. You're pissing into the wind. You're like, what am I doing wrong? You aren't necessarily even doing anything wrong, right?
Exactly,
So you may as well just make your own stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And so what's your favorite things to create for yourself? Do you like the monologues?
The monologues are good. I feel like it depends on the day. And they're like anything, you know, you get in a groove and then you're like, oh, I want to try this thing. So the monologues were kind of the way into it.
Nice.
And then I remember distinctly during like the beginning of COVID, I had some friends from work who were like, I edited TikTok. I'm like, what is that? Like clock? I don't understand. But that was, once I figured out how the algorithm worked and stuff and was like, oh, it's not just an insane asylum. Like you could kind of search for things on here as opposed to just scrolling. I was like, oh, I'd like to try this. So that, I was at a wedding on Sunday and someone recognized me from TikTok, but they didn't know. They were like, who are you? I'm like, I don't actually know. And they were like, I'm sure we've met. I'm like, I don't know. So we were trying to go through the thing and eventually it was like, oh, the Adidas shorts and sunglasses on TikTok. And he was like, yes. I'm like, okay, we found it.
That's hilarious.
So it's like very niche, like Harry Potter, Twilight, sometimes Hunger Games TikTok, just like an ironic dance basically. And that was really cool for like 2 or 3 years, but now I'm just too busy and I'd like to go back to it. But I think it just depends on the day. I'm trying to finish the 3.5 draft of a book that I am writing.
Nice.
And I think once that's done, I'll be able to do some scripts, but I have the tendency to just really focus in on one thing and be like, I can't do these other 18 things that I also want to be doing, you know?
100%.
So it's protecting your time as well, which is tough. It's so tough. And then you have like your day job as well, and just the general stress of being alive. You're like, what the fuck? Like, how am I actually supposed to do anything? And then finance, like, oh my God, clean my bathroom? Like, no. I can't do any of that.
So true. God. I totally relate to the, you know, I have all these different ideas and I just need to focus on one because I will do that, like, oh yeah, I want to do this. I have the problem of I want to do all these different things and I feel like I have not enough time to do all of them.
Yes.
When it's like, okay, calm down.
Well, I find too, if you just fucking write it down, you're like, oh, it's not actually that overwhelming. When it's all in your head,
That's
you're like,
true too.
Oh.
Yeah, 100%.
But it is also overwhelming, right? Like, you do technically have to sleep. Do I actually sleep? I don't know. But like, technically you're supposed to. So there's only this much time in a day.
Yeah.
And it's hard too, like I find as well, because our lives, there's a pressure to be so public with it. You don't actually know that other people are probably not doing amazingly either. And I wish we were all thriving, but probably everyone kind of is going through similar stuff. But we're embarrassed to talk about it because we're like, no, I got to present, like, I know exactly what I'm doing and I'm doing really well. And it's okay to not be.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. Yeah,
Sad.
100%.
Yeah.
Like when someone asked to interview me for this podcast and I was like, this is where they all figure out I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
But that's everyone. No one knows.
Right?
Oh my God, no one knows.
And I was like, also, I don't have to be an expert in this field. I'm like doing this to learn about all the different ways of being an actor and all the different ways of being creative and everybody's story and asking questions I've always wanted to ask and stuff like that. So
definitely.
There's no, like, there's a pressure to present as an expert in whatever you're doing. And I'm just like, you know what, I'm not.
Yeah. I actually am
I'm
negative
totally
qualified.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
this.
totally okay with that, which is like super weird.
Yes.
I do like being the best at things, but
if I can't effortlessly be good at something, I'm like, well, it's not worth my time. I didn't immediately get into the Olympics for pole vaulting. Fine.
I tried to trapeze once. I wasn't good at it, and I was like, never again.
It's
Fuck that
invalid.
sport.
Just everyone stop trapezing. It's canceled. We're putting it away.
Right? I was
That's
like,
really
it was so weird too. I was like, why am I not instantly good at this? It was so bizarre.
It was me with, what was it? It was water skiing. I'm like, I'm strong. No.
Can't pull myself out of the water.
Not even close to standing. It's so sad,
hilarious.
dude.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, I totally
It's
like.
so
So I'm like, what do you
too.
mean? I'm not naturally. I've never tried this before. Why aren't I amazing?
Shouldn't it just be innate human knowledge? Like, swinging from branches is not that different. So, come on.
Right? Oh my God, it's so true.
A bad audition for Tarzan, I guess. They were like, thanks so much. We'll be in touch.
We'll be in touch. We'll be in touch.
Book that.
Never see you again. I understand.
God.
It's hilarious.
Oh my God. It's fine. One day it'll be funny, but I'm still living with the shame of I couldn't water ski on the first try.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Every day I'll never forget trapezing.
Carry it with us. Deathbed regret.
Should have tried one more time.
That's right. Second time's the charm, right? That's fine. Literally have never revisited it, but still cranky.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. 100%. I just think about that Pride and Prejudice quote that's like, oh, I'd be so good at the piano if I had ever played. And it's like,
yeah. Should I write that? Was that me?
It's like, yeah, I'd be good at anything I actually tried.
Yes, but I just don't. Because I know I can do it, so why bother?
Right. I know.
Oh my God.
Brains are fun.
Yeah, truly. The joys of being alive where you're like, okay, I just won't trapeze again. Oh, so bad.
Right? So sad.
It's fine. We'll get redemption. After this, we're actually going to go trapeze and water ski. So we'll be back with part 2.
We're actually going to do both of those at the same time.
Don't ask us how.
Trapeze into the water and then immediately be water skiing.
That's it. Trapeze with the skis, manage to land onto the little boat.
Yeah,
perfect.
the James Bonded off into the sunset.
Tom Cruise Paris Olympics. Oh my God. He really should have stepped up his game. I don't know what he thought he was doing. So
clearly, we should have been a part of that production team, 100%.
We're so good, so really just missed it. I'm pretty sure they were like, look, they're too good. We don't want to embarrass the athletes. So
100%.
Just save it for 2028.
Yeah.
But they'll be ready. LA is ready. God.
I love it. So the book that you're writing,
Yes.
what's
I'm
it about?
Very excited. I have to get better at being concise about it because I could just talk to you about it for an hour. But it's basically, if I have to be concise, imagine that you are the heir to the medieval Irish throne and you find out that your dad has sold you to hell so he could have an 18-year orgy. And you're like, what the fuck do I do with that? So that's I think the log line for now. We're gonna probably workshop that. But if that piques your interest, I'm excited. I'm very annoyed at the software that I use, and it's my own fault. I've been burned by it. If anyone's using Scrivener, stop. Just find a different thing. Like, don't. Literally never. I only downloaded it because it was a perk of when I worked at Apple. They gave it to me for free. And I'm like,
right.
Oh my God, free software. It's trash. That's why they give it to us for free. But basically, there is a combination of keys that I don't know, but you can push, and it'll just delete everything you did, and it will never be returned to you. So you're stuck with the last time you saved like a separate file.
Yes.
And I have probably done this like 6 times now, and every time I'm like, what the fuck happened? I've tried Googling it. There's no answers. It's like the software doesn't actually exist except for me. Like, whatever, it's fine. So I basically just now perpetually save as, like after every page. And I've gotten a little bit better. But honest to God, I'm literally just having to go through it and double space and change the font, size, and type. And after that, we'll be done. And then we'll freaking see. It's sometimes a bit surreal. I'm like, sometimes I'm editing, I'm like, you don't fucking know how to write a sentence. Like, this is ridiculous. So audacious of you. Right. But then other times I'm like, did someone else like come on the computer and do this? Because I don't remember writing this. So it's possible.
Damn,
my cat's the ghostwriter. She's like, this all fucking sucks, but I'll fix it a little bit. Oh my God. So stay tuned. My hope, I can't even tell you, to all the friends out there who are like, when can I read it? I'm like, next month. That's been like 3 years now. So I'm sorry, everybody. But I am praying to God that by October 31st, it will be done.
Hey.
Don't hold me to it because it's going to be embarrassing.
I'll call you that day.
Did you finish it? Who is this?
Who said October 31st?
Not a single person ever. I'm not even writing a book. Hang up. Change the number.
Who is this?
I don't even speak English. Au revoir. I'm in Paris. Olympics. I never left. Oh my God.
Hilarious.
Dude.
That's so
It
funny.
is, but you know what it is? It's also like Twilight got published. Not to shade Stephanie Meyer, but to shade her a little bit.
No, 100%. I love seeing and watching garbage. I 100% do, because
Reality
then
TV.
I absolutely just like see something and I'm like,
I could do it.
someone produced that.
Yes, truly.
Someone
produced
said
this
yes.
10 times.
Yeah.
10 spin-offs. Real Housewives. Love Island.
They're like, man, they produced that. I could write my
Truly.
idea. My
Yes.
idea is not that
Yes.
fucking bad.
Not
I
literally,
love
no.
that. Yeah.
It's very validating.
100%.
It's very aggravating too, because you're like, why not me? But at least you can use it as fuel for the fire, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
yes.
Yeah, as much as we want everyone to do well, thank you to those who don't.
Thank you so much, especially when you do it publicly.
Yeah, we need you. We need you to be
do it
like,
really
oh, the
big
bar's
service.
actually down here. That's
Thank you for the
fantastic."
reminder. Oh, thank you.
Keep
Thank
doing
you.
it. Keep doing it. And I mean, some people like it. So like,
Yes.
obviously it's not pure trash.
No, there's a
but-
market for garbage.
Yeah.
Raccoons? Raccoons are like, keep making this.
Keep making shit for the raccoon people.
The raccoon people love you. Oh my God. I think that's
love
really
it.
good. As I go through, I'll be like, you know what? At least I'm serving the raccoon people. And I don't know who or where they are or how they afford rent, but that's fine.
Dedication at the beginning of the book for the raccoon,
people. I think we're on to something.
Yeah, I think so.
It's
I
our
think-
production company, just raccoon people.
Raccoon people.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
I love it. That's hilarious.
Oh.
So tell me about with the monologue slam.
Yes.
And so you entered during COVID. Was the first
Yes.
one that you did?
I'm trying to think. It's March seems like correct, but also who fucking knows? We'll pretend it's March.
Yeah.
I like what they did in that they would kind of give you the option to do like comedic or dramatic.
Yes.
And I think it's like such an actor thing to be like, I want the drama. Like I want to be able to cry on cue and have everyone be moved.
Right.
But I think there's also a tendency, like even when I think about the Oscars, as though that is the be all and end all of everything, which it's not, but like they really do love to reward dramatic performances when it
Yeah.
is so much harder to make people laugh, you know? So my typecast in theater school was woman who cries because of a trauma, but I'm like, just let me be funny. Like, I swear I'm a little funny. You're just a funny little
Hilarious.
girl. So So after breaking out of that kind of trap, I was like, no, let me try and like write my own stuff. And it resonated well, which is cool. So initially they were doing them online, and then once it became a little bit safer, we were able to do some in person, which is cool.
Nice.
My favorite thing I think I did was a scene slam, which was neat. A couple of classmates from school. I think we were in the top 3 for that one, which was really nice. But it's just, that's like nice gravy, I like to think of it as, but like objectively, we did write a scene and film it, and like if one person laughed, I was like, there we go.
Yeah.
So it's nice having the extra validation, but I think at the end of the day, no one can take away from the fact that you're like, you did a thing. Like
Yeah.
even if it was for raccoon people, you did a thing for raccoon people.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I am the raccoon people.
I am the
Whenever
raccoon
I make
people.
stuff like content to put it on, I watch it. I'm like, that's so
That's
funny.
it. I'm so clever. Literally.
Right,
Like no
that's
shame in
funny,
liking
I
your
am.
own stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna like that twice. I'm gonna add it to favorites.
Right.
Oh my God.
Go to my other account, like it from there.
That's it. Be like, oh my God, that was someone else. 2 people liked it.
That's my,
Only one
that's
of
my
them was
social
me.
media manager. Definitely not me.
Definitely not me. No. My social media manager loves my stuff. They don't look at me in the mirror, so totally separate person. Oh God.
But yeah, that's awesome. I love Monologue Slam for that.
Tons of fun.
It's
I'm
so
so
much
grateful
fun.
to them because it kind of
Yes.
was like a boy, right? You're like, wow, all this stuff that I was used to being able to do is gone.
Yeah.
But then you're also like, oh no, like I could just practice. Like I could, and that was kind of what it was, you know? It was one where it sort of challenged you to like fucking do work because it was so easy to just be like, the world's ending, like what am I gonna do? Like I guess I'll just lay here and watch Tiger King or whatever we were doing. Tiger King? I think it was.
Yeah,
Tiger King.
yeah, I
Oh my
totally forgot
God.
about that, but
literally
yes.
unlocked memory. Had us all in a chokehold and then just vanished into the night.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, no. Thank God that raccoon people, right? Raccoon
Yes.
people.
Oh, 100%. We love
Not tiger people, raccoon people.
TM'd raccoon people now, by the way.
Yeah, no chance in hell are we letting go of that. Oh my God.
That's hilarious. I
Yeah.
love it. Are you union?
I am. So it's a weird limbo of being actor apprentice. And I'm like,
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay, sometimes it affects theater work as well. I'm like, does an actor just do on-camera performance? One day I'll learn the intricacies of it. But I'm
true.
like, it's fine. We're at where we're at. So it's kind of funny. Like the very first commercial that I did was for Tim Hortons. They're probably gonna be so angry that I'm telling the behind the scenes, but it was not safe. Like we were on these fucking bicycles. The like premise was that we were biking across Canada. We were biking in Scarborough. Like those mountains were digitized, but that's fine. But we were on these bikes that were not meant for riding, let alone going down like a 90-degree hill. And it was at the point where they had like members of the crew holding the bikes while we were on the hill before the shot, and they all had to fucking yeet themselves out of the shot. And then we just were kind of out of control down the hill and hoping to God not to die. And we didn't die, but they also didn't use the footage. I'm like, because it looked like shit. Like, I'm sure it did. But that's fine. So just that, I was kind of like, oh, I see why there are union
I
sets.
understand why there's a union now.
I do get it. My God. And, you know, the experience on unionized sets, I'm like, aha, yes, like order and structure. But, you know,
Yeah.
it's a tough one where I think there's a lot of talented people who just, for whatever reason, you can't break into it. And it's tough because you feel like, oh, it's only valid if I'm, you know, full union and, or like SAG if you're in the States.
Right.
But it's not, like, it's all just, I don't know, you're on your path. And I think it really is about divorcing the, oh, unless I am in this specific capacity, I'm not
Yeah.
like a real artist, which is so not
Yeah,
true, you know?
yeah,
And
100%.
you can't, I don't know, you can't like force things to happen either. Like all you can do is put offerings, and as we were talking about, like you make a solid body of work, hopefully for yourself, and then maybe for people in your circle who appreciate it, and that's, I hope, enough.
Yeah.
But it's not, you know, we all want more, but
100%.
you can't force it, and it's tough. I think that's going to be everyone's whole life journey though, of just being like, what am I doing it for? Is it for the gram? Is it for the money? Is it for
Yeah.
me? And at different points of life, I think it is for each of those things. But I think if you can just go to bed and be like, I did a thing today, hopefully that's enough.
Yeah.
You know? And you can't just wait for the phone to ring, because there's so many of us all trying to do the same thing. It's so gaslighting when you go into an audition in person. You're like, wow, there's like 810 other people who look exactly like me. Like, I thought it was super unique. I thought people would have had bangs.
Right.
You have fucking bangs too? Like, oh my God. But like,
So true.
yeah, it's such a, one of the teachers we had in school, she put it very well, and I didn't really realize it at the time, but she said, like, take it personally, but don't take it personally, because obviously it has something to do with you, but also doesn't really have much to do with you at all. And a lot of the stuff is totally outside of your control. You're like, oh, they just needed like somebody who had green eyes and I don't, or like, they just kind of had this audition as a formality and they already had the role cast. I'm like, okay, why did I get my hopes up? That's fine. but
Right.
it's so out of your control.
Yeah.
But making your own stuff, you can do, you know? There's no
Yes,
one except
yeah.
yourself stopping you from doing it. And that being said, it is the easiest thing in the world to just not do it. You're like, oh, I worked really hard today on nothing, so I'm not gonna write, or I'm not gonna film or whatever.
Yeah.
So I try to be like, look, did you write one sentence? Then you're one sentence further ahead than you were before. And like, I think it's also very helpful to just always kind of be working on a little monologue so that you're at least practicing memorizing. Because otherwise you're like, wait a minute, I don't actually know how to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So there's always little things you can do. And you know, you can take a class and stuff and just, I don't know, just not thinking that everything that you're doing to try to make yourself feel better about it is a consolation prize. Because you can't, I don't know, you just can't make people cast you. And that's not an indictment on your talent or ability. It's just the world is like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think too, you got to recognize that you're already doing the damn thing. Like
You
it's
are.
really easy to just be like, oh, I'm not here yet, not here yet, not
Yes.
here yet, not here yet. And,
Yes.
But if you just like stop, pause, and look at what you're doing, you're like,
Literally,
oh,
look
I
how far
am
you've
doing the
come.
thing. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Like I am
Definitely.
practicing
Yes.
acting in whatever capacity,
Yes.
either going to classes or practicing monologue or writing a
Yes.
sentence a day. Like you're doing the thing.
Exactly.
doing
You're
the
working
thing.
on the craft. And that is actually what it's about. Like probably when you look back at like 4 million years ago when people were starting out, they weren't like, but fuck, am I getting berries from people who are coming to watch me? Like you're probably just doing your shit, you know?
Yeah.
I hope. Like maybe it really has. Nope. The second we like evolved opposable thumbs, we were like, all right, where's the money? Where's the money? I'd wager not the case, you know? But
Yeah.
stay tuned. Raccoon people will find out. The raccoon people are on the case.
They're like fact checking in the comments. Actually,
we can find 12
berries
sources
were
right
a
now.
currency
The whole time. It's been an essential. Oh my god. Yeah, well, we'll
hilarious.
find out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Someone out there is fact checking for sure.
I
We're gonna
hope
get
they
an angry
are.
email. Listen, you don't know anything about anthropology or human history or art history.
Yeah,
So
you're like,
shut the fuck.
that's correct.
We said at the beginning. We don't know. We're just kind of here.
No, we're just
We're
yeah,
just
we're just
asking questions.
yeah.
Oh.
We're not experts.
Not in a single thing except trapeze. Oh my god.
I love it. That's hilarious.
Dude, oh my god.
Do you have a memorable audition, either like really good or really bad, that comes to mind when I just asked that question?
Honestly, I think immediately I was like, oh yeah, it was my very first in-person audition, again for Tim Hortons. It was so sad. So I was
The
late.
true Canadian story.
Literally, I am not sponsored by Tim Hortons. I'm actually probably gonna get served with a lawsuit, so I'll see you after. I'll let you know. But this one, so I was late, which is a great way to start. And then basically what it was to drink an ice cap, but there was no ice cap. It was just like the cup and the straw. And I managed to choke on my own spit. I was like, they're never gonna fucking call me it again.
Like she can't
She's
even
literally
breathe
such
right.
a mess. She can't even breathe right. I was like, oh fuck, okay guys, that's it.
That's
Spoiler alert, it
hilarious.
was not the end of the world, but I was like, well, that's it for sure. My agent's gonna be like, you fucking can't drink pretend water, like, bye. And that would have been more than fair. I'd have been like, you know what, definitely I shit the bed on that one. So that, we got the shittiest one out of the way at the beginning.
so funny.
So proud. And then one that I really enjoyed, it was for last year, I did the Stranger Things experience.
Oh,
I
okay,
think
yeah.
it was a year ago, but yes, it was a year ago. And the audition for that one, it was like, they'd given us 2 characters to prepare, and I don't think they actually expected anybody would memorize both of them. But like, I can't work on book. Like, I'm just like, I'm gonna read this or I'm gonna look at you. You're not getting in between. So I learned the stuff, and I think they were just kind of like, did you actually learn the lines? I'm like, no, there's a little man talking to me, like little earpiece. Like, no, we did learn it, but it was just, I think having a theater background, a lot of emerging into film, I was sort of like, oh, you got to be really small. And like you do in a certain way, like it just, you kind of have to think of it as doing surgery with like a laser, you know, as opposed to just, I don't know, I can't even unpack that. I'm going to stop that sentence there. But basically they were just kind of happy to see you being you, and I was like, okay, how do I look in the frame and stuff. It was just a very freeing experience.
Yeah.
And they were cool with improv, which is like my favorite thing. So I'm like, okay, that was super fun. And then I left, I was like, I'm not gonna book that. But then I think it was my birthday, they called and they were like, we'd like to cast you. I'm like, you guys are nuts. Like, no, we shouldn't have done that. But you
What a
can't do it."
mistake. I'll take it.
Hang on. I'm crying. Oh my god.
That's
But that's exactly how
hilarious.
it went. And they were like, what do you mean mistake? I was like, it's too late. and they never found out why it was a mistake. Oh my God. But it was just, yeah, I think it was just, you felt like you were actually in the room to play. And it was a reminder, that's why we fucking do this. Like,
Yeah.
we forget that we do this because at some point we were having fun. We might not be having fun anymore.
Yes.
But we were once, and just trying to kind of get back to that state, you know? So RIP to those fun days. Now we just cry every day or pretend not to cry.
That's right.
God.
So do you find that with all the training and stuff like that, you kind of have to like learn that and then peel it back to find the fun, or were you
It's
able
hard to say.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the day too. Like there are times where we've all had those ones where you're like, silent on camera woman, just, we don't know who we want. We want someone 10 to 65 and maybe they're this or this, and you're like, who the fuck do you want? And they don't even know, you know? And you're like, why am I doing this? But I think you do just have to find the joy, because I think a lot of the time too, there's that roller coaster when you get an audition, you're like excited and then nervous and then resentful, and then you are like, oh no, I'm really good, and then you're like, well, why didn't I book it? That whole fucking roller coaster.
Yeah.
So I think the only thing you can do is just try to find the joy, or else maybe don't do it anymore. If it's like that stressful, or you are that resentful of it, like why on earth? We have so many things we have to do, like taxes. I don't fucking want to do that. If anyone enjoys doing taxes, I have a lot of questions for them. But like that's something we have to do. We don't have to act. So if it's causing you like that much, maybe look for something else. Like know that no one's forcing you to do it. Unless someone is, in which case I'll help you. I'll be like, let him go. He's not happy right now. He's gotta be a farmer, like whatever your passion might be. But yeah, I think you have to find the joy, because there's so much that's not joyous about it. And that's just the business side of things too. Like I think the spirit of the art is what drew us all to it. Maybe there's some people out there who are like, I really want to be famous. That's not me. But you know, that's like the gravy. I think we gotta come to think of it as the gravy, you know?
I love it.
Yeah, we're not here for fame. We're not here for Instagram likes.
Not anymore. Like I feel like that.
As of last Tuesday,
immediately, like as soon, I used to be like, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna be famous. And then once I got into the real world of it, I was like, okay, so good thing I like this, because
because I have an audience of uno, and that's my goldfish, who has a 2-week lifespan.
It's like to thank my mom for constantly liking my shit on Instagram.
And my 6 burner accounts that are totally not me. They're all different people.
Exactly.
I don't have 6 phones.
I don't have 6 phones.
God.
Just accounts.
No, just 5.
So out of school, did you get an agent immediately?
Yeah, it was kind of like, oh my God, well, I'm obviously on my way to Broadway. Like, but no, we are still here, and that's okay. It was one where, so we had a showcase for Theatre Ontario. I don't know if it still exists in that capacity anymore. But I also had won an award. It's so funny. What was it for? Potential in the industry. I'm like, let's go back to 2018 and be like, you might want to give that award to somebody else. Oh my God. But that award was sponsored by ETM. So I met what became my agent there. In fact, I think I just kind of yapped at her for ages, and she was like eating a sandwich. She was like, maybe if I just tell her I'd like to represent her, she'll shut the fuck up. So I like strong-armed her into signing me, and that was really lovely. But oh my God, dark turn for everybody. She actually passed away in January, which is like kind of surreal even to say now. But you know, it's life. Like life is never really giving you warning signs that things are about to change, right? Like it's literally not that way at all. So it's okay. Like shit happens. R.I.P. I'm doing a really bad job of eulogizing her. The fly was like, Greta, shut up. But I'm now with a different agent. His name is Warren Bell. He's lovely. Henhart Management, and it's just. Sometimes it's also interesting because that's all you really knew going into the professional world, like this relationship with this person. You kind of forget that there are obviously different ways of doing everything. So he's very hands-on, which is really cool. Like bless him, he'll do like weekly meetings with everybody if you want to drop in for Zoom. I'm like, this is unheard of. Like, thank you for your time, my guy. So yeah, it's just interesting seeing, there are obviously different styles of having different sorts of relationships with your client. And I think we also forget, like sometimes the goal is just, I need an agent, then I'm fine. But that's not the case, right? You still, and also for yourself, like, are you content just waiting for things? And like, again, a lot of the time it's not necessarily roles that you're like salivating over. So I think just to feed your own soul, like still trying to forge connections with other people and like making art for art's sake, or just like filling that friggin' void where you're like, I'm doing these auditions for things I don't really want to necessarily do or like wouldn't cherry pick if I had the choice.
Right.
And I think agents appreciate that too. They're like, oh, you're also hustling. It's not just you on the couch at Henry's being like, why are they doing more for me? Like, no, we're hustling too.
Yeah, actually, the agent that I have now, she was like, so what do you, like, tell me about yourself, yada, yada. And I told her about everything, like the podcast.
Yes.
She's like, I am so happy that you have things going on
Yes.
for you because,
Yes.
especially with the industry the way it is right now, like, not a lot of things are coming in. So I don't want you hounding me because I want you to trust that I am doing my job.
Yes.
But also, like, you're not like sitting around being like, did they call? Did they call? Did they call?
God.
You know, the
Which is so
desperation of
easy.
it, which is like a very new thing.
Yeah.
But very grateful for it because you're right. Like I'm not a sit and wait kind of person.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta do something right now, even if it's push-ups, which I don't want to do. But I'm gonna do it first thing to do.
Exactly, right?
Oh,
and so
God.
she really did appreciate that I had like something else going on. So hot tip.
Have other things going on.
Have other things. Have other things.
Yes. Just for your own sanity. 'Cause
Yeah,
again,
for life. Like live life.
Literally live, laugh, love. God. Couldn't say it with a straight face.
Almost threw up.
Literally, actually, gotta go to the hospital because something is hemorrhaging internally. The live, laugh, love organ was like, that was insincere.
It's like, you cut that shit out right now.
It's supposed to be our secret. It's not on mugs anywhere.
Yeah, it's not on like 3 walls in my house.
No, not for 1 second. No, not getting installed as we speak. Oh my God.
Have you recently taken classes in Toronto?
Yes, I literally yesterday just finished up a class with Angela Bashara at Lighthouse.
Nice.
Highly recommend. Like, homie is a fucking champion. It's basically one where I remember, again, graduating school, I'm like, I'll never have to take a class again because I know everything.
Right.
LOL. Like, not true, but that's fine. Eventually we all learn. We get humbled.
Yeah, exactly.
But what was, like, I'm so grateful for Ryerson because it was conservatory training, and I think all of the groundwork that we laid is so important, but no fault of their own. Like, it's a theater program, and on camera is different. Like, it's not something to be scared of, but it definitely takes refinement. And looking back, I'm so like, I should have taken this class earlier, because I wonder, like anything, you wonder how it might have gone if you'd had these skill sets when you were first emerging.
Right.
But you can't go back, right? So all this to say, she works so much in the industry and has seen so much and like knows the different styles and the networks and the casting agents and the technicality of things because she's been on set. She just knows really how to audition for the camera. Nice. And looking back, like, even this last course was every Tuesday for 4 weeks. And even looking at the quality of the work from the first class to the last class, having worked with her several times, like, you can see actionable improvements like every time.
Nice.
So I think what's good about it is, like, she'll call you on your shit without, you're like, okay, I gotta go cry. Like, it's so, you're like, oh my God, of course that makes sense. And it's actionable. It's not like, well, can you just pretend that you were an orange and come next week and be like, how did being an orange for, like, that's sure, but perhaps not. She'll never do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she'll do like career coaching as well if you're like, look, this is where I'm at, this is where I want to be. It's just, it's been pretty invaluable. Would highly recommend.
Amazing. Shout out,
Angela. But it's also one where maybe you don't necessarily want to do on camera. She'll do scene study as well. And I think it's just what's feeding you. And it's probably important too to like take lots of different classes to see what all the offerings are. But I also am like, yo, if something is working really well for you, like, stick with it type of thing.
Right.
And it's hard. It's so hard. Like, I know it just seems like it's expensive. And I don't even have enough to be alive, so like class or living.
Right.
But if you can, it's so worthwhile. And it's not even like an admission of, oh, well, it must be bad, I need to take a class. Like, no fucking way. Like, we can always improve, you know? So big fan for sure.
Love.
And no gatekeeping of classes. Like,
yes.
If things are working, help other people find things that might work for them too.
100%. 100%. That's the only way we learn shit is sharing. So like, share more of it.
To share.
Yes, 100%.
Oh my God, yeah. And it's one too where, like, what's the point in gatekeeping? There's no point.
Yeah.
There's truly no point.
Yeah.
It doesn't help anyone get ahead, and I don't know. It's sometimes weird out there. It's like a Wild West a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
It's intense. It's intense.
Ooh, Hunger Games. Like Tiff, all the people like, oh, what part are you going to? I'm like, it's gonna be fine. It's just a bunch of Canadians. Like it's gonna be okay. There's
I know.
no one.
Yeah, I think I've been to like TIFF things like before COVID, I think even, but I haven't been since. I'm not invited. I'm not cool enough.
Next year, though.
But yeah, right. I've been saying that for a couple years now. But like, well,
really
next year I'll actually have something filming there or premiering, and I won't be able to go because I'll be working the next day. I'll be so busy.
I'll be on the set.
That's right, and I'm gonna hold on to that as long as I can until I get humbled or proven right.
We're getting proven right now. I just got an email. They're like, we want Allison right now.
That's right.
Cut that short. Get in the studio that we have.
Exactly. So yeah, TIFF is a weird, and it's hard to watch on Instagram. It's hard to watch everybody booking. And
I know.
I'm on set and look at these parties and look at these connections I'm making, and I'm sitting at home like,
I'm gonna watch The Office again.
I still have a wish.
Yeah. It's hard, like, social media, it's such a curated form of our existence, you know? And like, yes, maybe you are objectively on set, but like people are also on their own path, and you can't, like, it does not really serve to compare. And also sometimes it's as simple as looking and you're like, is this person like a different human being from me? Like, is there any chance that I could have booked that role? No, I'm not like a 6 foot tall man. Right. So I wasn't even in the running, you know? Right. But no, it's so hard. And honestly, I think a lot of the time it's best to just not have social media, because I took a break when I was really trying to get the 3rd draft of my book done. Okay. And it was weird for a couple of days. Like, I deleted the app Insta off my phone. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, where is this? I can't even click it. It's just a blank square. But the app was gone. And then after a couple of days, I was like, I don't fucking miss this. And the algorithm's weird now too. I find it's like people who I actually would care to engage with a lot of the time are not being promoted. It's like random fucking reels or like sponsored ads. And the search, do not click the search button, because it's just like a mental health travesty. Like people who are like younger, prettier, more successful. I'm like, just there's no point in this, right? Yeah. In some ways, I find TikTok a little bit better because it's mostly strangers. Like the algorithm has changed. Yeah. I'm like, you are just person on TikTok. It's not like peer circle. Yeah, you know? That's true. And I find with TikTok too, you can do your friends, or you can do the For You page, right? So if you want to see the people that you're following, you can just be like, okay, switch to friends. Yes. Whereas like Instagram, it doesn't care. Yeah, you want everything? Don't you want to buy SheerTex tights for 50% off? And I'm like, never. Only now. Right now for one day, one more second. Like, it's so insane. But also, SheerTex, if you want to sponsor me. Yeah, at any point, we didn't just slander you, no. It was high praise. Praise is the highest sort. Oh my God. But the ads are crazy. Like, sometimes you're like, oh yeah, men's kilts. I love men's kilts. My favorite thing in the world is men's kilts, and it pops up. I'm like, so you're so clearly listening to me. Or my search history of men's kilts. I love men's kilts, and it pops up on YouTube. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh my God. Right? My job right now, so it's to help workers form unions, and we've lately had to be at a grocery delivery site, and I'm never searching it up. There's not a single second in my spare time where I'm like, ooh, this company. But it must know that I'm out there, and it's like, ad for these groceries. I'm like, no, this is a terrible employer. I don't want to give you any money. But it's just, the surveillance is tough, you know? Yeah. And even like I'll get ads for like screenwriting courses and things. I'm like, why do you know this about me? Right, so, I know. It's like, stop it. I know, but also maybe I do want to take that class. Yeah, but no. Be less nonchalant. Literally, tell me what you really want me to buy. And it's men's kilts. Oh my God. I hope I get ads for men's kilts. You're gonna. Now. I'm gonna literally send them to you. Be like, look what you did. And you did to my phone. At SheerTex. It all comes full circle. I love it. That's hilarious. But it is validating to be like, oh, like TIFF was exhausting, even just to witness as a spectator. Yeah, you know? It's tough. And sometimes you literally don't have the energy to network. And that's something. Yeah. Are you good at networking? Oh no, I was literally just about to say it's my least favorite thing. I know, right? It's because I can definitely tell when I'm getting schmoozed. I don't get schmoozed on the daily, but I would wager that people who do are like, yo, I can't fucking do this, you know? Yeah. And I feel like for me, it would much rather, like, sure, you got to put yourself in the space to connect with these people. And if you are there, I think my hope would just be to have like an organic conversation, because those people are people.
Yes.
It's not just like function and means to an end for me. Like they're literally people as well.
It's funny talking to other actors, and when they find out that you're an actor as well, they're just kind of like,
oh, you can't do anything for me.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you might be able to. Like, you can come on this fucking podcast, or maybe you can make something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was so odd when I was at my agent's. The agency had a memorial for her, and it was just like a room full of people who were all trying to schmooze. But I'm like, you're all the same fucking person. Like you're just try to like. Oh, you like fucking Rick and Morty? Like, okay, I will continue talking to her, not just to connect on a human level type of thing, you know?
Yeah, right.
Although props to the people who can schmooze, because I'm sure that's invaluable, but I feel like my insides are liquefying. I'm like...
you can see it so easily that you're just like, we're all...
trying to do the
Stop it. I'm a cat that doesn't want to be held.
Literally.
Like, I'm just like, please stop.
Yes.
Because, it's so it's uncomfortable. I used to think in, like, the audition room, I used to think that I'd be, like, schmoozing, but like you couldn't tell I was
I'm just
schmoozing,
so slick.
but now I see people do it and I'm like, this is I can understand why I didn't book.
Literally, you're like, well, I deserve to not.
I'm like, so we're gonna cut that shit out immediately.
But live and learn, right? Like you can only know in hindsight.
Yeah.
But I wonder too, I'm like, do you know you're being cast that way? Or maybe the people who are just so good at it, if they're out there, like it doesn't even come across as schmoozing. But you can just tell. You can watch people's soul die behind their eyes and you're like, they're not listening anymore. It's literally one where the people watching it hate it, the people doing it hate it, the people receiving it hate it. I'm like, why are
but nobody knows how to make it stop.
So they're just, I'll give you my business card. Do you want to follow me on LinkedIn? Like, no, never, no.
100%. Why are we all faking this crap?
I know, but that's the thing. I think that's why this is so good. It's just there's no like pretentious like, we have it all figured out. It's just checking in with people where they're at.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't actually know where they're at, and that's okay.
Yeah, 100%. And like, without with not comparing to social media, like everybody goes through the shit.
Definitely.
If you're not currently going through it, you're will
gonna.
Brace yourself.
Get ready, it's in the mail.
Join the dark side.
That's right.
But like it feels so lonely when you're going through it.
Yes.
And then watching everybody else succeeding or going to TIFF or whatever, and you're like, shit.
So what did I
this
do
sucks.
wrong?
Yeah,
But
you're
you
like,
didn't.
what the fuck? And
Literally.
then no, everybody's sitting at home scrolling on the same couch from IKEA.
Exactly. They all live with me somehow, because in this economy, you need 40 roommates.
Exactly.
And we're all on the same. Yeah, no.
We're all scrolling.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yes.
So no, it's definitely really nice to just like connect with people and be like, okay, we're all in the same shit boat.
Literally.
And I love it.
It is a boat made of shit in a shit ocean.
For the raccoon people.
With the raccoon people, you're like, how do I get to be like them? How do I get to be happy on this shit boat?
I love
Sense of smell is just gone. You're like, I don't fucking know anymore.
Like,
I
we
can't
lived
tell
here
what's
so
good,
long.
We've been here so long. It's true though. Oh my god. It's fine.
I
Get a
love
life
it.
raft. We're good.
What kind of genre would you like? Comedy?
I do like comedy. What really is?
Do you have like a dream role?
If it's not happening, but if I could be in a reboot of Superbad, I'd be so happy.
Oh my god.
But that doesn't seem like, that's again, I think with the monologue slam, what really got to me, I'm like, this is the kind of shit that I would like to be in or would make me laugh, and it doesn't exist. And like kind of just that energy of like early to mid 2000s comedies, removing the homophobia and all of the like casual racism, but like the spirit of it of just kind of like, this isn't like a super high stakes movie, but that's okay.
It's
like
just
as long as
fun
people are
and
having fun,
entertaining.
you know. And Canada's so interesting because, and Angela's talked about this a lot in her class, just like the Canadian scene's kind of fucking weird. Like when you see theater, I think it's getting better, but for quite a while it's just sort of been, I'm trying to think how to word it. Like there are these established theaters that exist, and you feel like, okay, if I can't make work there, then what? I'm bad. But it's not really the case. Like, and when you look at Canadian plays, for a very long time, it was all just like psychological realism. It was literally over and over adult children who are reuniting to discuss a childhood trauma. I'm like, we can't watch this anymore. So it's getting better for sure,
Yeah.
but and it's not that the institutions like gatekeep, but it's this thing of if you're not there, then obviously you're not talented. And I'm like, it's not true at all. And like the work that's getting made, sometimes I'm like, who is this for? Like, who is it for? And they don't even know. They're just like, we had to put it in a play. So this is
Like, we just got the rights to it
this
really
one.
cheap.
Yeah, we wrote this.
We
one,
didn't
so-
want to say anything.
That's
It was the
It's just
cheapest.
there. Don't ask any more questions. Raccoon, get out of here. But the theater can be a little bit odd in that regard. And when you look at like literary awards that are available as well, I'm like, man, we're just rehashing like sad shit, and I don't understand why. And like sometimes you do need to watch like a serious thing or a sad thing and you get that catharsis, but like a lot of the time people are just looking for something funny.
Yes.
And then when you look at what's getting made here, like shit gets canceled immediately, and I'm like, oh, you didn't even give it a chance, or we import stuff from the States, or it's one where they have stuff filming here, but they bring all the people from the States, and like we'll get that Ontario tax credit, and we'll like have some people in like smaller roles. It's just funny to me,
Right.
like watching The Boys. I'm like, you're in fucking Bay Station. Like your headquarters are fucking Roy Thompson Hall, and you're at the museum.
Yeah.
But it's just like, oh my god, we have to pretend we're in America. I'm like, no, we have an industry here. Like I do not understand it. And I think the strikes in the States, which were so valid, and we have actors been locked out for years here for part of the commercial agreement. But we have all of the ingredients to make shit here, and then having that cut off access to like American productions, I think showed how reliant we are. And there's this kind of tendency to feel like, well, I gotta go to the States. And like I don't want to, like they're kind of a shithole right now. Like sorry, America.
I don't want to dodge it actually right now.
I like would love to just continue having my free healthcare. Like I don't want to have to hop over there when we've got everything here. So I don't know. I would challenge the Canadian industry to just fucking invest in itself, because why not? I don't understand why we'd have to literally jump ship, because it's here. And I've never been out to Vancouver. Like perhaps it's sort of a different beast there, but I just feel like a lot of the time we are content with being an outsourced economy and having brain drain. And I'm like, there's no point. Like I think about Schitt's Creek and I'm like, we did it. Admittedly, like massive, like giants of the comedic scene, but it can be done. It can be like exported. So I think if you're just making good shit that isn't necessarily adult children regathering to rehashing psychological trauma in their youth, you'll be okay. So odd. It's very odd. But it's one where this is the way it's been, and no one's really thinking, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but they don't realize it is kind of broken,
Right. I like that hot take. That's
it's
a good
hot. I'm getting
take.
sued again. I'm gonna have to lawyer up, Allison. I'm in such trouble.
No,
I've pissed
it's
off Tim
good.
Hortons, raccoons, all of Canadian theater. I'm in big fucking trouble.
No,
my God.
it's so true. It's true. I was just at Toronto Web Fest and we were talking about the same thing
It's brutal,
of like when foreign work goes. We need an industry where we can stand on our own 2 feet, and it's not reliant upon people filming
in
here.
literally being like, this looks metropolitan, or like this looks rural. I'm like, yeah, it does, but we can set shit here. Like,
exactly.
So perplexing. Well, I'm glad you were there, and I'm glad it's not just me, because sometimes I'm like, wow, maybe I'm just really cranky.
No, 100%. I think the tides are beginning to change.
I think so.
I
only took
it.
a pandemic, 10 years of shit American presidents, 100 years of shitty film. We finally got there.
Right? I know. Yeah, and I think we need to shed that identity of like Canadian TV sucks and that kind of stuff, because we have produced like good shit, and so like that whole idea of like it's not up to par. Such an old, outdated thing.
Definitely.
So let's get on it.
I think that's the other thing too. Like traditionally, you've had to rely on. Probably you need like the traditional forms of media, of like getting cast in film and TV and maybe theater. But social media is so helpful. Like how many people? Like what is his name? I cannot think right now. But he was viral on TikTok, and he just got a show through Crave. I cannot remember his name. But he's
is Late Bloomers is the show? Is the show? Oh no, he's YouTube.
Late Bloomers,
but
there's the other one. It's like I can't fucking think of it. Someone out there is like, I know what she's talking about, but there's only one person. They don't have the answer. They're not here right now. But literally, someone knows.
And it was a guy?
It was a gentleman. Like his thing on TikTok was kind of like faux reality TV.
Okay.
And he, I think, got signed with like possibly like William Morris or something in the States. So like just I think there is validity in making your own stuff, because why on earth would you have to rely on traditional channels when so many people are getting pulled from social media, TikTok, Insta,
100%.
you know?
Yeah.
Even if it's just reality TV, it's still something.
Yeah. Well, even from a producer standpoint, if you've already built an audience up, you're helping them do their job.
Literally.
And so like I used to be like, is social media important? And now I'm learning, a little late. We're behind. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, why not help out?
Yeah.
We have such little control over like our careers.
Yes.
If you can help out with building your own audience, why wouldn't you help out with that?
And
so
it's
yeah,
a fine balance of like not driving yourself crazy with it.
Oh, 100%,
but like,
yeah.
You have access to literally the whole world through Instagram, TikTok, and
yeah. If you wanted to film a short film in
could.
1950, like you had to actually get a camera and film.
Yes, and that would have been $1 million. I don't know about inflation.
Right? And now it's in your pocket.
Literally, like there's really no excuse.
Yeah.
There's a million excuses, but there is objectively no excuse. You know?
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's another thing that's pretty freeing about non-union work. Like, let's just fucking go. I'm in this kind of weird limbo now where I'm like, okay, I'd have to probably rely on like, what's the program, like TIP or something like that, which I think is still under works. But like, you have so much freedom. Just be like, dudes, the shit that we want getting made is not there. Like the vehicles that we want to showcase our talent is not there. Like, let's just like cottage weekend and we go. Just there's so many fucking things and ways to be creative, and it's just, I don't know why we don't do it. But I think once the penny drops, you're like, oh, I could have been doing this the whole time.
Oh yeah, it's so easy to just like once you actually learn the lesson you were supposed to learn, to look back and be like, wow, that was so really fucking easy.
I was such an idiot. Oh my God.
Why did I do that 10 years earlier?
Literally. But we were saying that before too, right?
Yeah.
And I think the trap is, I have my agent, I'm good.
Yeah.
No, you can't coast. And like, is that really fulfilling? Just waiting for someone else to do the work for you? Like, nah. No. Brutal. It's brutal out there. Olivia Rodrigo said it right.
Be a creator.
That's right. Hashtag follow me on TikTok.
We love this.
Oh my God, this is our favorite thing to do. We're thriving. Oh my God.
I love it so much. What is your TikTok, and where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on The Talk. Nobody calls it that. But you can get me at Voodoo Mama Juju if you watch The Office.
Fuck yes.
It's so stupid. But it was early days of COVID and I was like, this is what I'm binging. So it made sense at the time. And then you can't change it. I'm like, all right. And when people recognize me, they're like, are you Voodoo Mama Juju? And I'm like, fuck, no. Yeah, but I'm not. Like, that's not me. I do other things. It was literally one time I was working at Apple and this girl was, and I just knew, like, sometimes you get a sixth sense being like, TikTok. And I was like, hi. And she was like, are you on the internet? And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, everyone's on the internet. But she was like, I love your stuff. And I'm like, thank you. It's just, I'm not to slander that at all. It's just sometimes you're like, I am a creator beyond my weird Harry Potter dances. But if you enjoy them, I'm so glad. And then on the gram, which some people call it that, I'm not totally out of the loop, I'm That's So Greta. I don't know how many O's there are. Eventually, if you just keep typing it, you'll be like, that was too many, that was too few, this was just right. You can Goldilocks it. And then you can add me on LinkedIn and I won't respond. Sorry, not sorry. Don't try to loop me into your MLM. Oh my God. Oh, it's only a matter of time before someone tries to recruit me. And I think I might do it just to see. There's probably like a movie in that, but I don't really want to get into an MLM.
Most successful MLM.
Literally, how to succeed in business without really trying. That hasn't already been taken. That's a new title for me. Oh my
Working
God.
title.
Literally, it hasn't been trademarked and it might be trademarked. I don't fucking know. No more questions. This is over. I'm going. Oh my God. I've had enough. My brain is not working. Oh my Lord.
I'm dead. That's awesome. Also, we'll link her social medias down below.
That's it, because my explanation was incoherent.
No,
like,
it's
so
good.
it's Q,
just so you
Z.
know how many O's there are.
Yes, there might be 4. Don't quote me.
So I'm going to finish up with 2 questions.
Do it.
First one is, what is some advice you would give to your younger self or to someone starting out in the industry?
I would say, like, no one is going to do it for you. Like, you've got to do it for yourself. And you can still rely on other people. But I think at the end of the day, like, you live in this body, like not mine, hopefully, although you're welcome in this economy. But like you spend all day with you. And I just feel like you do yourself a disservice by not like embracing all the parts of you. And I think a lot of the time too, it's just so easy to get wrapped up in bullshit, whether that is in the industry or like in our own lives. But just hopefully try to go to bed every day being like, did I do something for me as an artist or like me as a person? And if you did, like, call it a win. And you know, nothing happens overnight. Or if it does, amazing, send me tips and notes. But you know, just I think stay the course, because what's the alternative? You know, you like quit and do a safe job or something, and then you wake up at 50 and you're like, what the fuck? Which is fine too. It's never too late. But yeah, just don't cut off parts of yourself that you think need watering. It's probably the best way, because we're all plants at the end of the day. That's right. Chloroform, CO2 conversion. Yeah.
Nice.
Tips from me.
I like it.
I hope so.
I like it. I like it.
I made it myself.
I made it myself.
My own tip. I brewed it at home and it baked weird, so that's for you.
It's perfect. It's perfect just the way it is. And then my last question for you is, what would you name this chapter of your life?
Oh my God, Existential Crisis 87. Because we were 86 deep and now we're at 87.
I love it.
But like, I think that we're all kind of in a state of perpetual angst. Like everything's kind of on fire and falling apart, and like the social contract's broken.
At all times.
Always.
There's no easing up on that ever.
Pedal to the metal 24/7.
Yeah.
So I think that's it too. Like, look, everything's kind of crazy, and like life maybe is a little bit meaningless, so maybe make your own shit and just have fun. That's in your control. Who America elects is not, but whether I make a podcast is. So we're doing something right.
No, what you're doing is awesome. You deserve all the good coming to you and everything. I know you joke, but you're worthy, my dear. You are worthy.
You as
yes,
well.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back next year after our TIFF premiere. It'll be so good.
Oh my God.
Raccoon People sweeps the awards circuit.
TIFF 2025. Watch out for Raccoon People. Hilarious. I love it. Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Loved it so much.
Delightful day.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you laughed as much as I did. I had so much fun in this interview. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment your favorite part, fact check us in the bottom in the comments, and we'll see you in the next interview.